Welcome. In this video, we will go through the concepts of both phonetics and phonology and their characteristics. But most importantly, we will examine the differences and similarities that both of these concepts share. So let's get started. What is phonetics? It is a branch of linguistics that focuses on the production and classification of speech sounds. It looks at the physical production of sounds, focusing on which vocal organs are interacting with each other and how close these are in relation to other organs. Some body parts we use to communicate are the lips, the tongue, teeth, lungs, and brain to produce particular sounds. Phonetics also classifies speech sounds with the International Phonetic Alphabet, which is a framework that uses a single symbol to describe each distinct sound in the language. This is an example of a chart of the International Phonetic Alphabet. We can find words like book, cat, how, short, sit, and yes. Consonant sounds are divided in two forms, the first form being in manner. It means how the sounds are pronounced and the way in which the air is modified when it passes through the vocal tract. Some examples of consonants can be stop, fricative, affricative, nasal, liquid, and glide. The second form of consonant sounds would be place. It means which articulators are involved in the production of consonant sounds. These articulators are bilabial, labiodental, interdental, alveolar, postalveolar, palatal, velar, and glottal. What is phonology? It is the study of patterns of sounds in a language and across languages. It describes the way sounds function with a given language and operates at the level of sound systems and abstract sound units. Knowing the sounds of a language is only a small part of phonology. This importance is shown by the fact that you can change one word into another by simply changing one sound. When it comes to characteristics, phonology finds the systematic ways in which forms differ and it explains them. It also studies abstract mental entities such as structures and processes, and it also looks at what sounds or sound combinations are accepted and why. And with the use of phonological trees, syllables are broken up more easily, this meaning that syllables are made up of a rhyme and an onset, the former being defined as the vowel sounds in the syllable or the key components of all syllables, and the latter being any consonants following the nucleus. Here are the main differences between phonetics and phonology. Phonetics is a part of descriptive linguistics. It studies all speech sounds, both individual and universal. It works with phones, and it analyzes the physical implications of sound. While phonology is a part of theoretical linguistics, it studies sound patterns of a particular language, it works with phonemes, and it analyzes the abstract implications of sound. Now that we have a clear understanding of both of these concepts, we can start analyzing both of the similarities and differences that they both share. We could start by saying that the common ground for both of these branches of linguistics is sound. But if so, what makes them different from one another? Langue is the underlying system of rules that determines syntax, grammar, etc. This is an unconscious control of language. Its basic object of study is the phoneme, which are sounds associated to a conceptual image stored in the brain. This can be understood as phonology. Parole, on the other hand, is how language is actually used, with all its variations in particular states of expression. Parole is basically langue unfolded in time. It depends, in order to be communicative, on the interlocutor's knowledge of the same grammar, the same context, and dialect variations. Its basic unit of study is the phone, or allophone, which exists in the physical world but depend on phonemes to be decoded. This can be understood as phonetics. Differences out of the way, we can start to analyze how are phonetics and phonology similar? Well, more than similarities, it's about a certain connection or relationship. These two subjects of linguistics weren't always separate. There was a time when they were thought of as the same thing. It wasn't until the second half of the 20th century that the distinction started to become more evident to linguists. While phonetics made it possible to generalize the reading of sounds throughout the globe, Phonology turned its eyes to the way these sounds relate to each other in words and sentences of particular languages.